And we are live. Welcome, everybody, to Patriot James Talk Show. Tonight, we got some special guests. The champions of Southeastern's Catfish Trail, Tournament Trail. But before we start that, let's say God bless America. God bless each and every one of you. And we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And right now, we're going to talk about happiness of catching some catfish. Mr. Clay Henderson and his brother Jason, thank y'all guys for coming into the show tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's an honor. It was an honor having Clay to come down there and fish the tournament a little bit with us. It was, and we had a good turnout, Clay, and I'm glad you was part of my first one. And hopefully Jason will come back for the next one.
Yeah, it was awesome turnout, man.
I'll be there next year.
Yeah, we had some
right.
we had some honored guests there. Somebody that come fish with us that I knew was coming, but I wasn't allowed to say a lot to nobody. But he was Congressional Medal of Honor, the youngest Congressional Medal of Honor, come fish with us down there, and that was very humbling, Clay. And I hope it was humbling for a lot of people to meet this young man. Uh-oh. Ball fight.
That's exactly right.
Hopefully we doubled it. I went and looked at a venue today I was hoping we would be able to use for next year's, because I got a feeling we're going to double the size. McDowell Park, but they do not have a boat landing. But I'm still not writing that off as far as being able to use it, maybe because they do have a campground there, and maybe be able to do some festivities and stuff there and actually use the boat ramp over at Bustboard Bridge. As much as I hate that ramp there.
Yeah.
You know, it's the biggest ramp we got around on Wiley. Unless y'all know one that would be better suited for what I'm predicting 140 boats next year.
I'm gonna tell you what you had this year at South Point was probably the best. Yeah.
It is. I'm wanting to get more of the public involved with it, Clay, and that's why I'm looking to try to change the venue. Simply because that's so far down at the end of the road and everything's private around it. I would love to be able to get more of the public involved, restaurants, hotels, and stuff like that to house these people. Kind of like what they're doing out there in Illinois, that Fishing for Freedom. I know I'll never make it that big, but eventually, hopefully, we can. You know, that's something that needs to be started all across the country. But I might be reaching out to y'all guys to help. You know, I can't do it all by myself, and I know guys that say, "Hey, I'll jump in and help." But when the time comes, I really need somebody to say, "Hey, I know somebody in the hotel business, or I know somebody in the news business, or I know somebody in this business that can help get this word out." But anyway, we didn't come here to talk about the tournament. We come here to talk about y'all boys. Y'all done great. Southeastern is a fast-growing tournament trail, and I know there's a lot of eyes on it because y'all run a pretty tight shift as far as it comes. So if y'all don't mind, tell the crowd a little bit about Southeastern, and then we'll get on to talking a little bit about how y'all boys went about winning this championship.
I'll start with, the Southeastern. It started off, we'd get 50 boats each year. And their average boat count was probably 70 boats. I think we had up to like 81 maybe at Wateree. And it's all based around, it's ran fair, and it's a great group of guys. And it's more like a family atmosphere. Everybody's like family there. We compete against each other, but then we hang out afterwards. It's a deal where we want to beat our buddies, But then after it's all over with, we're still buddies, no matter,
That's right. We go off through other tournaments. We all travel together and stay in houses together, and all kind of fish together.
And I know there's a lot of junk talking because I see some of the posts and stuff. Y'all give each other a hard time on there, and I think it's hilarious because I know good and well y'all all like brothers to each other.
That's right. Gotta have fun with it.
Yeah. So I mean,
that's exactly right. You got to keep it interesting. That's for sure.
Now y'all run what, a 3-fish tournament trail?
3 fish except for everything on Wiley. Wiley's 2 fish.
Okay.
Yeah. With a
Is that because of the 32?
Yes.
That's kind of why I stuck with the 2 fish. I mean, I wanted to go with the 1 fish and make everybody swing for the fences right off the bat. And everybody said, well, somebody could stumble on 1 fish.
Yeah. 1 fish, you can get lucky on that.
Yeah. So, but I was really concerned about a lot of people that are not tournament fishermen not having a big enough live well.
That's right.
Now, was that some of the rules that y'all stick to? Y'all check live wells, not just because you're worried about a cheater, but making sure that the live well is sufficient.
That's right. Make sure you got adequate live well. Most people have oxygen spray bar or something to recirculate water or something.
Right. And
y'all run the safety of the fish is the most important part.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. Let me give a few shout outs here. We got 27 people in here. Sorry, guys. We got Big Slim, yeah, boy Troy, Skin and Scales, avid fisherman. What's going on? The Cross family's in here. Wayne Smith, Mike Irvin, Catfish Weekly. There's Mr. Lyle. There's Chrissy Brown, Hooks and Hammock. 812 Catfish Queen. 812 himself's in here watching, I'm sure. Yeah, there he is. Surviving with 812. That rascal catches some big old flatheads too, boy. He fishes some of them flooded timbers. I just want to give it, there's Jason Lamb, Miss Paula Smith. Everybody, I appreciate you coming in. If you don't mind sharing it up, hit the thumbs up and the likes, and I do appreciate it. Georgia Fisherman, Alan Dale, a lot of these guys bought a lot of my bobbers. 812's been putting some monster flatheads in the boat with float fishing. All right. Now, how long y'all been fishing the Southeastern Tournament trails?
Since they started, and before them, when it was the Catawba Catfish Club.
It's been around.
Go ahead.
You're losing. Yeah, it's been around. I think the Catawba Catfish Club started around 15 years ago, and they kind of went under, and Southeastern took over around probably, 5, 6, 7 years ago. And we've been fishing it since the beginning of both of them.
Now, y'all mainly fish out of Clay's boat?
We kind of mixed it up. I think this year we fished 5 out of mine, 3 out of his, and 1 out of a buddy's.
Oh, I hear you. Well, that's good that you can all work together like that. There's One Over Outdoors. That rascal right there, if you ain't subscribed to his channel, guys, check him out. One Over Outdoors, fishing down there at Santee. He fishes up at that swampy area. The only person I know that will drag planer boards through stump fields.
He must be using drifting sticks.
Yeah, he must be. All I can say, not too many people would be willing to attempt that. So I know I talked to you a while back, Clay, and you said y'all was hanging in there a second, and you'd rather be chasing first, and then instead of looking over your shoulder at somebody coming up on you. Them points were close, wasn't they?
Yeah, they really were, man. We had some tough competition. The guys we were chasing, we were back and forth. It was a good competition, good friendly competition between everyone. We swapped the lead a few times, but at the end we snuck by by 8 points. So that's only 8 points, or it's 2 points per position. It was a battle. They was leading by 2 when we went in to the last tournament, and we ended up winning by 8. So It was a good year, good for a lot of teams. The guys that we beat a couple of years, so they've really, they've stepped up their game and really strong this year. So it was tough competition for us.
Yeah, you can give them a shout out. You don't have to hide their names. You give them a shout out on here because they earned it.
That's right. Southern Legacy, Gerald Smith.
It's Keith, Team Soda Legacy. Very, very, it's a father-son team.
I hear you.
I didn't know what to expect from them. We thought about it. They were new, and but man, they give us a run for our money. We've been fishing a long time, and they stuck right there with us. And each time I thought we might pull away, this month, but they hang in there. They jump ahead of us, so they made it tough. It wasn't easy, that's for sure.
Very tough.
Hey, good competition's fun.
Yeah, it was very fun. It was stressful, but it was fun.
It makes you step up your game, though.
It does.
I've heard so many people talk about, just like y'all, the drifting sticks. There's a ton of companies out there that make, drifting weights and stuff like that. And just like there's quite a few that makes the floats that I make. But to me, I like that competition. That makes me stay up on my game.
That's right. You try to do something a little different than everybody else.
Hold on one second, guys. If you don't mind, tell a little bit of y'all's fishing, the way y'all fish together, and some of y'all's techniques. I got some coyotes coming through.
Okay. You want to start?
All right. So I'll go ahead and I'll start off. We do a lot of drift fishing.
Fire trucks, not coyotes. I'm sorry.
We do a lot of drift fishing. And if we're in the river, we don't, but we'll anchor them. But it's a whole lot of drift fishing. Just if we have my tri-tune, we'll back troll off the fish off the front of the boat with the big motor and 2 socks off the front. If we're in Jason's boat, we'll use troll motor and pull off the back. Or sometimes, like this past weekend, we'll throw the jet drive in the river and go get up in there where everybody else can't.
That's right. Secret weapon.
Hey, yeah, up in that part of the river, buddy, there's some mean rocks up there to take you, make you think and draw up on some of that waters.
That's right. Bigger than the boat we was in.
Yeah. But that's what it took to get it done, though, wasn't it?
That's right.
We was raised up fishing on them rocks.
That's right. We've been running rocks and jet drives our whole life. So,
ain't right. Now, while we're on that point, let's talk a little bit about that. There's a technique that I've been wanting to try for years. Ever since my bass fishing days. I was always a cat fisherman, but I got into the tournament trail of bass fishing. And back when Hank Parker and all them was fishing some of our local lakes and stuff, I fished quite a few of them. But I always caught catfish on pig and jigs and on swim baits and stuff like that, deep diving crankbaits, but mostly on flipping big worms and big jigs. I was always one that throwed 10, 12, 15-inch worms. I throw big baits. Even for little bass, I throw big baits. With that being said, you think down there where y'all talking about y'all run up there in the rocks and stuff, do you think that that's good areas that you could do that for flathead catfish?
That's what we was targeting. We caught 3 of the ones we weighed in. 2 of them was flatheads and 1 blue out of the 3 fish we weighed.
Now, when you was approaching places like that and certain structures, how was y'all setting up on them and putting baits on them? If you don't mind. Now, if that's something you want to keep to yourself, that's fine.
Well, that's no big secret. A lot of people do it. Just find log jams. Find log jams, trees in the water, get above them, throw your bait right on them, let the scent drift down in them, and hopefully one's in there that's going to swim out and grab your bait.
Right. Now, in those places where you're talking about,
you don't sit long.
Yeah, you don't sit long. You run and gun.
Right. You was talking about your boat. It's a bass boat or something like that, or you're using your jet boat. Now, is that a place that you could actually go through like a bass fisherman and pitch big jigs or something and maybe pick up them flatheads?
Yeah, you may be able to. We've never tried nothing like that, but you probably could if you get up in them trees and pitch something in there.
Because I had a couple guys send me some videos. I asked about it one night on one of the shows. This guy is going around on a float tube pitching big old rubber swim baits and in a rocky river, and he's throwing them things up behind those boulders and slamming the flatheads, just slamming them. And I thought, you know, and I knew Fishing Creek and Watery, you get on up in the river section, it's rocky, boulders. I think, well, of course, Watery don't have that many flatheads in them, do they?
There's getting to be a few. There's not many.
Right. I always wondered, would that be a good place to try a technique like that? Yeah. And y'all run up in there, so y'all the perfect people for me to ask that.
We might have tried it. It'd be fun. I'd like to feel one, try to snatch it out of my hand.
Yeah. You know, we can't really bump. Well, I guess you can bump when
there's a lot of current break up there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they like current breaks. I mean, all fish really like them current breaks to rest and when they're feeding, and a lot of debris sets down behind them big rocks.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know, so what made Southeastern make that decision to fish fall, winter, and spring, and then none in the summer? Was that the health of the catfish that was the main concern?
One of them. Two of them. Probably so many people.
The health of fish. Yeah, the health of the fish is the thing. Southeastern is really big on the health of the fish. That's one thing Brian and Josh, they talk about a lot. We want we want big fish brought in, but we want them to swim off. And that's something
swim off health.
You know, right, yeah. By not having them that's exactly right. And those summer months, you know, the oxygen level is so bad, and even with oxygen tanks in your boat, you know, with a good live well, it's hard to keep those fish healthy. So that's why they, you know, I'd say that's probably the biggest reason, because they're,
you know, hot water, it's hard for hot water to hold oxygen, but it's also easier for hot water, the ammonia from the catfish poop and the debris that they puke up. The ammonia level will rise so fast in hot water, people don't realize it actually starts burning the gills of the fish. So when Richard and y'all was telling me about, you know, y'all's was from fall to spring and through the winter, I said, these guys is on it. They know what they're doing. They're really paying attention to the life of the catfish. And that meant a lot to me. And I wanted to be part of it. Even though I'm not a tournament fisherman, I want to be part of it to do what I can do to keep y'all going and keep y'all out to the world. So other people might start following that suit.
Yeah.
Now, do y'all fish different in the wintertime as what you do in the fall and the spring, or what do y'all change up as far as that goes?
It's constant change. Constant change. Fish are constant changing. You got to try to stay on them.
And waters are different too. Wiley and Watery is two totally different places, ain't they?
Completely. We pull a lot. We pull and drag and drift, you know, probably 10 months out of the year. March and April, we're usually sitting somewhere trying to find some current and anchored up. But usually we're pulling baits the rest of the year, and depending on what time of year and what the fish are doing, depends on the depths and you know, close to channel edge or mouths of creeks or points or something like that.
Right. Now, do y'all ever do any shallow water fishing? Because I love shallow water catfishing.
That's our favorite thing. We love it. Getting up in the back of a creek.
That's the biggest secret out there.
Hey, people don't realize last year, January, at the end of January, 1st of February. January and 1st of February, we was sitting in 4 foot of water, throwing baits up in 2 foot of water, catching 30s and 40s.
That's right. Nobody believes you can do that when it's that cold outside, but that's when they're there. You got the sun heats that shallow water up faster than it does deep water, and that bait runs up in there, and they just follow the bait.
But I've noticed that
They're only there for one reason.
That's
yes,
right.
to eat.
Right.
See, I think they're there to heat up. Listen to what I'm saying. I watched the temperature. We sat back there all day, and the temperature changed maybe 1 degree. 1 degree. All right. But the fish are dark on the top of their bodies. They're light on the belly.
Sunburn.
There you go. The UV ray penetrates the top of that water and starts heating them fish up more than it heats that water up.
I caught a 52-pounder at Wiley, not this past Saturday, Saturday before in a tournament, and that fish was as black as it could be, and I caught it in 3 foot of water.
Dang right. He was warmer than the water, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think it's the UVs, like an old turtle getting up on a log or a snake or whatever. They're there to warm up. I'm glad y'all said that. So let's talk a little bit about your drifting sticks, man. What got you started wanting to make the drifting sticks? And I know it was probably trial and error on a lot of things, and it's like that with any product that you come up with. What made you want to start making them and producing them for people?
So, I mean, just like most people, we started off with, the slinky weight everybody used for years. I got tired of losing them and making them. They rub your fingers raw trying to make them. And I was like, man,
yeah.
So I just come up with this. I was buying stuff from Lowe's and trying to make stuff. And then I started using them, and my buddy was right beside me. I used them. We used them for like 6 or 8 months, maybe a year. And one day we was at Watery, and my buddy was beside us, the slinky weights, and we had the drifter sticks before they were drifter sticks. And he was hanging up, and we would just kept on. They'd pull right. So I said, man, I may have to do something with this. Put them out there on the market, and it's been wide open ever since. And like you was talking earlier, people's come in and they've kind of made something similar to it. Kind of some of them copy pretty much the same. Some has changed theirs a little bit, but
right.
I mean, there's enough fishermen out there for everybody to have a little bit. So we don't mouth any other companies.
No, this market's big enough for everybody that wants to produce a product. It really is. The slinky looking weights and stuff, I've made them out of different things. And like you said, they get hung up. And a lot of times I think it wraps around stuff more than it hangs up on it. That's what I run into. But if there's something down there for me to get hung on,
I think that material hangs up a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I tried my mother-in-law, she's bad about buying this stuff as seen on TV junk. And she'd buy them daggum old flex hoses. Turn the water on and it stretches out. Well, the inside of that ain't nothing but surgical tubing. So I'd take and cut the outside cover off of it, and I had 100 foot of surgical tubing, and that's what I was making mine out of. It felt kind of spongy, like a natural filling worm or whatever. And I'd open it up and pull a daggum lead shot, and it worked good. But I was constantly losing the cotton picking things. It was like they was too flimsy or something. I don't know. But it worked good.
Yeah.
When I wasn't hanging up on the bottom.
Like drifter stick. Of a hard plastic. And they're, they bend. So they hold memory. So like you take you got this here. If you take and bend it like that, it holds memory. So it drags across like, logs and trees and rock. Some people don't even know it's on the bottom because it's dragging.
Right. Now, do you find that it works a lot of places that the other ones would hang up, that these would actually walk through? Like your heavier cover, or
oh yeah,
I think I had a lot of problem around with the other type of weights around rocky areas. It's like it was dropping in between them rocks and it just couldn't pull out of the rocks.
Yeah, and you get a lot of times on like near the channel, you know, you have a lot of structure around the channel edge and stuff, and because a lot of rapid fishing putting stuff in, just naturally stuff, hanging up on the edge of the channel, and these things really have done good. And as CT, we get, but it's wolf for wolf guys fit all, and he uses them, and he hardly ever loses any. And he raves about them down there, saying it's tough on equipment. And and these things will drag right through that stuff down there.
I'm gonna dang sure have to try them out because I like dragging baits too. And there's a tough spot right there at the mouth of the South Fork on Wiley. And that son of a gun, I don't know what's down there, but it will eat your equipment. I'm gonna have to try to drag some through there and see what happens. I don't know what's down there, but it will get your mess.
Yeah, that's just where everything comes out.
Yep. Yeah. I know there's but there's something down there that's sharp too. I don't know what it is, but it's right there close where the two channel edges come together. I don't know what's down there, but it'll cut lines. It don't even hardly put any tension on your daggum rods, and it'll say snap, snap, snap. I lost 6 rods, 6 gear one day coming up through there. I thought, man, so far I ain't hung. And then boom, 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 boom. I thought, somebody was underneath the water and cut all 6 of my freaking dragons.
That's when the work
starts. Could be a cable, like a buoy, an old cable underwater.
It might have been, but it got all 6 of my back rods. The 2 straight down rods, I don't know if it hooked them just right because I seen them pull down and then come back up off of them. But them back ones, I guess, because I was long lining them, nah, it got them, boy. They sure got them. But I've seen a lot of different dragon weights out there. I like your style. I like that hardness of it because it's slick. That tubing is slick. Are there any times that you go back to regular weights, like I guess you do when you're not drifting? Do you what makes you? Let me reword that. What makes you decide to say I'm gonna use a 1/2 ounce, or I'm gonna use 1.5 ounces, or I'm gonna have to use 3 ounces? Is it just current, or is it something else that you want those baits to stay more contact to the bottom?
I'd say it's based off current and depth. If we're fishing, less than 25, 30 foot, we'll use a 1 3/4 ounce. We go above 30 foot, and we don't have a lot of here like they do out west.
Right.
We sell a ton of 4 ounce and 2 3/4 stuff out west with that higher current.
Right. Yeah, I was wondering, did you get a lot of orders out there from the river guys that fishes them rivers and stuff? Their main thing was probably pretty heavy weights. So what different sizes do y'all sell? We'll let Jason answer this.
So, we have...
He sat up there real quiet.
Yeah, I was letting him go. We got 1 ounce, 1.75 ounce, 2.75, and a 4 ounce. And we got all of them rattle and non-rattle. And then we got the stinks and the 2.75s and 4s that you can add your scent to, and it'll drag your scent.
Do y'all ever get any guys that call you one even heavier than that? Been in them rivers?
Yeah, Clay's had some and made some for people before, a lot heavier.
So y'all will do a custom job if requested.
That's right.
Good to hear. That's good to hear. So how long have you been producing these dragon weights?
So I'd say this is our 4th or 5th year that they've been on the market.
And
We
I'm
get
sure.
better. It's like I said, our best 2 months on the website was February and April since we've been going. So it seems to be still building steam.
And that's good. And I love to see small entrepreneurs and businesses that's putting the effort in, and you've recognized you've already built a name in the catfish community. That's for sure. And the word of mouth to me is your best advertisement that you can get. I never heard anybody say anything bad about your product. I haven't. And that's a good thing.
That's a great thing.
Yeah, that's a great thing. Y'all put a lot of.
When I started doing this, it was more about, it's not about the money, because I mean, they're drift weights, a whole lot of money. You're not going to retire off of them. We both work jobs, but it's just to have something in the industry, just have our finger in the industry just a little bit, and just to know that 20 years from now, hey, you never know where to be. But we can always look back and know that we, maybe help the industry a little bit.
Well, and I call everything a tool. Each thing's a tool. Just like working on a car, you got specific tools to do specific jobs. Drifting, y'all's specific tool is the drifting waste and the style of drifting waste that you produced. Me, it's the floats. You can use it shallow water, you can use it deep water, you can use it, drift fishing like Junior Proctor. Who would have thought you could use a float for drift fishing? It's amazing that now, is that something that y'all run into, is that people's contact you said, hey, Clay, hey, Jason, you never believe what I'm doing with your daggum sinkers now. And you think, I never thought about that, but that'll work.
Yeah. I mean, I've had people use them in the ocean. They use them, for fishing. A lot of people use them just anchoring, just anchor fish with them. Never change them out, especially the ones with the scent. They'll anchor with them.
Right. Now, say I use them when I use Kentucky 2-hook Kentucky rigs. And I do something I don't ever see anybody do. I put one of those 3.5 inch, or I wish they'd make 4-inch peg floats, but or 5-inch peg floats. But I'll take the biggest peg float you can get. And when I tie my Kentucky rig, I put a peg float about 6-8 inches above my top hook, right there at the swivel. So that and I almost slack line my rig. So that rig is always standing straight up and down. That's keeping both baits up in the water columns at two different depths. And I use y'all's drifting sticks because usually if it's kind of a soft bottom and you drop it pretty quick, that drifting stick will stand straight up in the water.
That's right.
So that's something I've been trying with them.
That's right. Otherwise,
that's something I've been trying.
Yeah.
Because I mean, yeah, it's made for one specific thing, but the only way things change in the industry is if somebody tries something different with a product that's already out there.
That's right. You never know until you try. You got to try something new with it all the time.
Right. Now, when y'all drifting some pretty nasty stuff just to see how much you can put in them and on them.
Yeah, we've drove through some really nasty stuff.
I've seen, old Keith Fishing stuff. He's made some different type of drifting sinkers and stuff. And I guess he tries to help out the little man that really can't afford to go out and buy a lot of stuff on his own, or he can, but he still wants to build it himself. I love building stuff. I love trying different things. I seen him use that lead core, whatever. I haven't ordered any of it. I'd like to try it, but he makes them pencil weights and stuff out of it. Mm-hmm. That's pretty neat idea. But in a way, I do kind of liking that sound in them, that rattle to them a little bit. Do you find that the rattle helps or hurts you, or most waters you don't really notice that much of a difference?
I don't think it's,
I think rattle is a big thing.
Right.
I think there's something to it. I just wondered, and I'm going to ask this because I asked a lot of people that about like the dragon shads and, the demon dragons or whatever. Is it the sound that attracts them, or is it the reaction of when they bite that bait and they hear that rattle right there, or they feel that rattle? They feel it, not really hear it. They feel it. If they think that something's trying to get that bait also, and it causes a harder clamp down on the bait.
I mean, I think that the fish, they feed off vibration, the water, and smell. And I feel like that, because current, we run demon dragon current on about every rod, because it's sitting that in there just shaking, and it's making that rattle. And if like this past weekend, we're sitting on the top side of a tree, if there's a fish at the tree below it, that vibration might, I don't know. I'm not a fish. I'm not in there, but I'm thinking, hey, they may hear that vibration or feel that vibration and come up there and check it out.
Well, me being a gold miner, also, I dive a lot. And underneath that water is really noisy. It would really surprise you how noisy underneath the water is. And that's why I asked. I just wonder if it's the sound that attracts. And I think it's the vibration, but unless you dive, you really don't understand how noisy it is underneath that water. And if there's boats and other things going on, especially out there on them big rivers where they got them barges and everything else, there's so much noise. I just wonder if it causes a harder bite than it does actual attraction. And I guess you'll never know unless you're down there filming it when it happens. It would be hard to say.
That's exactly right.
But because a flathead, people don't realize, he works off a scent, but that son of a gun's a reaction feeder. Mm-hmm. He can see. He's going to bite something moving. He's going to, if he thinks he can get it in his mouth, he's going down the gullet. That's why I wonder if it causes that fish sometimes. And y'all have done it before. I know you've had, when you get out there and them fish will be mouthing that bait and don't really want to pull it, or they'll pull down and let it go, pull down. I just wonder if that little bit of rattle causes them to say, bam, that's my bait.
That's a real good possibility. That could be real true. Because you get that flathead bite all the time where it's just little just mouthing it, but maybe that rattle makes them react harder.
Yeah. And plus, on them slow days, he might think it's a daggum crawdad. He's going to eat the daggum bait and the crawdad on the other end of it, trying to nibble on it. I don't know.
That's right.
I think sometimes they hit the demon dragon or the cork.
Oh, yeah.
We've had corks smashed before.
Oh, I've had corks tore all to pieces, especially by them teeners. 15 to 25 pound.
Real aggressive fish.
Oh, yeah. There's the one that'll bite the cotton picking blood out of you quick.
Yes, they will.
They mean, man.
Yep.
A teener into early young 20s, them son of a guns mean.
Yep.
Now, come to flathead fishing. I know that's probably one of the most favorite catfish they are for fishermen is the flathead. Do y'all catch more on live bait or cut bait?
We actually just had this conversation the other day. I'll let you talk about it.
So, we had an opportunity to take a bunch of perch and bring live bait with us Saturday for the tournament, and we chose not to because it seems like we just catch more flatheads on cut bait. I know that may go against do say, and honestly, one of our best months flathead fishing, one of our favorite times to fish is Lake Wiley in like December around Christmas. Those fish are feeding up, for the winter, and man, they will hammer it down. We'll catch some big fish around Christmas on Wiley.
Yeah, all of our biggest fish have been around the week of Christmas, and we've caught many 50 pluses on Wiley in the week of Christmas.
You just got to bundle up, guys and gals. If you want to get out there, the December can be a pig month. It really can.
Yeah.
You might not get the numbers that you like to get, but the average of big fish coming to your boat probably goes up quite a bit, I think.
Yeah. If you're looking for big fish, I think that
I agree.
that winter time is the time to get them.
Yeah. Now, nighttime or daytime?
We had this conversation today too.
Daytime.
Daytime all the way.
Daytime all the way.
We get too old for that nighttime stuff. It takes us to Tuesday to get over it.
Oh, I know that's right.
I know some of those guys like Richard and all that. They catch a lot of good fish at night, but I don't know, man. We fish so much during preparing for tournaments or on tournament day that we're really not great fishermen at night. I mean, just to be honest with you. I mean, we fish so much in the daytime, we don't spend a whole lot of time at night to kind of learn the pattern of a fish,
Go to the bank, go to the bank, go to the bank. Act like a bass fisherman. Put them on the bank. I'm a daytime fisherman.
Put them on the bank and get close to the catfish.
Yeah. I'm a daytime fisherman too, guys. I've been a morning man of my whole life, a first shifter. But I do like nighttime fishing. And I think it's more nostalgic than it is the actual catching of the fish, because we grew up catfish bite at night.
That's right.
It's that little myth or whatever. And it is pretty cool as long as you ain't getting eat up by the freaking bugs or the mayflies, which is just around the corner.
That's one of the main problems too, because you throw your lights on. I got 27 blue lights on my boat. I can light up the world at night. But when you turn them on, there's something else lighting you up.
Well, I figured out when we first got that pontoon, I bought some of those cheap LED strips to put on the boat because I wanted to see what color works best. They was cheap. I just taped them to the rails just enough to get the light on the boat to see. And I sat out there one night when the mayflies was first coming out, the mosquitoes was tearing us up. And I went through every color and I let it set on that color for an hour. Pulled my bug net over my head because I was tired of eating the daggum mayflies. And red was the best color. Now I looked like a daggum brothel coming down the road, down the daggum lake with all the red lights on it, but it attracted very little bugs.
Really?
Yeah, it was the red light. Well, that's what they talk about deer hunters and stuff going through the woods using a red light, but they don't see color.
That's right.
But I don't know if it's the same way with the bugs or what. I don't know, but it seemed to work.
I run blue on mine because it lights the rods up, lights the line up real good.
Right.
It's real good if you can swat the bugs out of your eyes long enough.
Right. I actually just ordered me some. I kept seeing it come up on the Facebook, those sales or advertisements, those lights that you can put on your houses that's a solar power and they change colors and stuff. I just ordered some because that's what I use on my boat is the solar lights. But they're motion activated. And I've got them on my deck. I've got them around my deck, and they'll stay dim all night long unless something walks by it.
Okay.
So, I'll put them all around the front of the boat away from me, and they stay dim up there. So when one of the rods get hit, when I walk up there, they'll all start lighting up where I need to go.
Right.
So plus I don't have to run no cotton picking wires to the things. And I've had these out here on my deck for 3 years now, and I ain't had to put the batteries in them yet. And they still come on every night. And like right now, they last almost all night.
Yeah.
But these are just white, but the ones that's coming out now, you can change the color on them.
Yeah, I got all rock lights on mine.
Now, have y'all got anything new products or something that's getting ready to come out, or that we need to look forward to? Or you don't have to spill the beans if you don't want to. It's just, I'm just curious. I'm a businessman and I appreciate good hard work.
So. Yeah, actually we do. So I ordered all the stuff to roll it out. I just ordered the stuff yesterday, so where I can start, mass making a good bit of it. We've got a new style drift weight coming out that I think is going to be really, really good. It's just the ones we have now still work great, but I always think that you can always make something better, and I feel like and I'm saying that better it's going to be the next three or 4 weeks. We'll have them online at driftersticks.com, and then we'll have them at Jamaica Outboards down in Fort Long, South Carolina, to start off with, and then we'll start putting them out in other locations.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, if anybody, guys and gals that's in chat, if you decide to produce a product, if you're not constantly thinking what's the next level, is this product the best that it's going to be for what it is? If you're not constantly thinking about your product and how you can make it better, or how you can bring out a different product along the same lines or something totally different, then I promise you will fall behind the 8-ball.
Oh, if you're not thinking about it, somebody else is.
There you go. There you go. That's how things advance. That's how we become. That's how we use the rods and the reels and the boats and the rod stands and the demon dragons and the line. That's how everything has progressed in this sport to get it to where it is today. I mean, who would have thought? Now we can dang near watch the fish on our daggum depth finder come up and bite our baits.
Yep.
That's almost cheating.
It is.
I would love to see somebody have a tournament where everybody had to leave their electronics at home.
I left mine at home last week and finished second in one big fishing tournament.
There you go. There you go. Well, explain to us, Jason, now that you just said that, what did you do?
I just pulled up on a shallow spot. I've caught them before and anchored up and threw them out.
Use knowledge of the past to get you to the future.
That's exactly right.
Anything particular about that spot? I ain't asking you to give away your spot.
Structure in the creek feeding in. Just getting on the point of the creek with structure and fanning them out. Got some current rolling through and coming from pretty much two ways, out of the creek and down the lake. And fanning them out and hoping for the best, and it worked out.
There you go. Was you fishing in pretty shallow water, or was you throwing them out deep and in the shallows?
I had them from 3 to 12, and they were in between. And I caught a big fish in 3 foot.
There you go.
He was splashing before the rod moved.
There you go. I love it. I love it. They can't dive straight down. They got to swim sideways. They can make a mess of you, though.
They can.
First one I caught up in 3 foot of water like that was about 32 pounds, and he decided he was going to run all the way around my boat. I had my bimini top up, had 12 rods out all the way around this cotton picking boat, and I had to do the dance. Time I got back around to where he slowed down, I was wringing wet with sweat, and it was in January.
Yep.
But it's fun when you see them big old catfish come up and tail dance on the water like an old bass or something like that, and he's about 3.5 foot long.
That's right.
That's just amazing.
I had a guy that's only fished 2 or 3 times his whole life, and his personal best before that was 27. So he didn't really know what he had, and I was trying not to tell him what he had.
Right.
I got it in the net. I kind of just looked at him. I said, I think you just doubled your personal best. And I pulled it over in the boat, and he was screaming so loud, we had a kayaker actually come down the river and check on us.
But that's what it's all about, ain't it?
And that's it.
That is what it's all about. It ain't that I'm catching it. It's somebody on your boat that's never seen or caught a fish like that, their first time. That makes all the sweat and the work and the worry worth every penny of it.
That's exactly right. They don't get that all the time. We take it for granted. We fish pretty much every weekend. We got a good wife and kid that lets me go all the time, but other people don't get to go as much as we do. Take it for granted a lot of times.
Right. Well, while we got you on here, tell these guys and gals what y'all's PBs are, y'all's personal best cats are.
I mean, the biggest one we've had in the boat was a 65-pound flathead from Lake Wiley, but my personal best is only 56. But that's fishing. We fish Wiley and watery mostly. A lot of guys here fish, James River and all.
Right.
Fishing. My 56 comes from St. But we're gonna get up here and catch one of those 70 or 80s, and boys catch, all the time up at James and all.
Hopefully this year sometime. My personal best is I think it's 54, wasn't it, Clay? I can't remember at Santee a couple years ago.
That's a pig of a flathead. That's a good fish, blue or flathead. I don't care what water you're in. Truthfully, most people will never see a fish that size.
A 65-pound flathead, that was huge.
Yeah. That sucker got a head that freaking wide on him.
Oh, it was huge. I'm 6'4" and big old boy, and I'm holding it, and it still looks big. When I hold a fish and it looks big, it's a big fish.
Yeah. Fish like that is a fish of a lifetime. I don't care what waters you fish in. A 65-pound flathead is just, it is. To me, it's a fish of a lifetime.
Yeah.
Sure, there might be some people out there catching them more on average, but 65 pound, I don't think that's an average fish anywhere.
No, sir.
A lot of times they don't. They're told they're certain size, but they're not actually put on the scale. So sometimes them eye scales are off.
Yeah. Well, a flathead can fool you too.
A flathead will fool you big time.
Yeah, he will fool you big time. And I'm one of these people, I believe, like Lyle. I think that tape measure works up to a certain size fish. But I think after that, they go out the window. I really do. Because I've measured and I've seen people measure them. And then I've seen people catch the fish that was about the same size on the scale. And I thought, I done the math. I thought, nah, I don't think so. That didn't look right. That just didn't, to me, it just didn't add up. But, who knows? Their scale might have been screwed up. I don't have a clue.
That's right.
So where's y'all's next big fishing trip now that the tournament's over? I know y'all still pleasure fish.
We're going to, we'll do a little fun fishing. We're going to go on a family camping trip, striper fishing next weekend.
I hear you.
And then just piddle around for the summer and take some time off. Maybe go do one of them night tournaments we talked about.
Yeah.
But
are you looking forward to Jeff Manning's tournament?
We got a little event in Watery.
That's right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, we got a little event at Watery.
The kids tournament.
Southeastern Catfish Club and All for One Ministries, putting the thing together down there for a kids tournament. Me and Jason's going to take somebody out on a little, a kid out for that. So that's our besides this family, we're going to do weeks.
Right. Yeah, I won't be able to be part of it this year, but I do want to be part of that next year. I don't know Watery good enough to do that. Hopefully I can get some more fishing time in down there, because I'd hate to take somebody out and not be able to find the fish for them. That would be my thing. I mean, I've got a safe boat, but hopefully my other boat will be through by then.
That's time of year, though.
Yeah, that time of year is really tough.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying, this year I won't be able to be part of it, but next year I think it's a great thing that y'all do. So hopefully old Wampus Cat and me will get together and come down there and do that. He'll bring his pontoon, tri-tune, and I'll bring mine, and that we ought to be able to haul quite a few kids on there. I don't know how y'all set it up. Do you set it up that you can't take families or just brothers and sisters, or how do y'all do that?
I think it's going to be a thing where, the kid's name that was drawn from, because we'd like to take a ton of kids, but, just I think they drew like 15 names, from kids put in, and their families get to go with us. So, it may be me and Jason on a boat with, a family of 3 or 4 or 5, whatever. We're looking forward to it because, taking kids or stuff like that, you get to see it kind of like a reality check, really, because we take catching a 10-pounder, that's nothing to us. We're like, just don't even put it in the net, just drag it up. But, a kid, a 10-pound fish, and you just made their darn week, maybe their year.
You daggum right. You daggum right. Well, guys, I appreciate y'all being involved in something like that. And, I know eventually it'll grow bigger than that where y'all can actually do more with the kids because, we see social media and we see the news and a lot of kids that might be the only time they ever get to fish.
That's right.
And that is memories being made and you're part of it and you made it happen. And I want to salute you for that. Well, guys, don't let me keep you. I do appreciate you coming in and joining us in the show tonight. I hate we didn't have a bigger crowd to come in, but we want to do it again. When fall comes around, when's y'all's first tournament in the fall start back up? September or October?
October this year.
October. Y'all used to do it in September, didn't you?
Yes, sir. They knocked back to September, boat traffic and the heat and fish and everything. It's just kind of knocked it back to October this year.
Right. So, maybe
we just dropped one tournament off the schedule.
Yeah, maybe. All right. Maybe around September, getting closer to October, because y'all do it the first Saturday of every month, starting October.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Maybe around the middle of September, we'll get y'all back on here and maybe get Richard and a couple other guys from Southeastern to come in here and do a show and let y'all talk it up a little bit and tell us about what y'all got coming up and maybe invite some people to come join y'all.
It works for me. Just let us know.
All right. Well, don't run off. I'm going to sign us off for the night and y'all two don't run off right quick.
All right.
That being said, God bless each and every one of you. Thank you for coming in and joining us. And we'll see y'all again next week, sometime on the water. God bless. See you.